What's up, people? I haven't seen you in forever. Do you know it's been so long since I did a live stream? I was sitting up here trying to figure out how to do it. It was terrible. I'm all out of practice and everything. But it's good to be back. It's still not the best. Actually, I think the Wi-Fi is faster than I have this direct connection, which they said is supposed to be best for live streaming. But I think at this point, my Wi-Fi is better than this part. But they're supposed to be bringing fiber optic to this area, and they promised that they're going to give me my one of the first people because I need it, and they messed me over for almost a month with this janky service. So that's it. Today's show is going to be about the 12 things. Now, this article that this conversation is based on was written by a guy. I mean, he's got a good reputation in the relationships field. His name is what is dude's name? Hold on a second here. His name is James Michael Sama. And he posted this thing. Somehow I got on his mailing list. I don't know how, but anyway, this article came to me in an email. And I looked at it. I said, oh, this is good because I was thinking about doing a live today, and I did not have a topic. So this is a good one. What I want you guys to think about, though, as we go through this, since so many of my viewers are of other ethnicities, you know what I mean? Because you ain't black. What do you think about these 12 things? Do you think that a woman who's black or Asian or Latina, or maybe from some other foreign country, those of you from other places, are you going to be looking, are these things at the top of your list of the 12 traits, or would you put something else there? That's always of interest to me because I think a lot of these things are cultural. A lot of them are based on your particular societal environment. So as we look at this, most of us live here in the U.S., but not everybody. We have a lot of people here from Canada and different corners of Europe and Asia. So I want you to know, just think about it as we go through these 12 things. You can write them down if you want to. And then at the end, I would like to get your take on, like I said, do you think these 12 things really apply to every woman, or are they more based on, as you as a woman of a different ethnicity would have a different 12 set of 12 things. So let's get going here. Hold on a second. How am I going to do this? I'm going to do it this way here. And I'm going to do it like this. Am I going to do it like this? I guess I'm not going to do it like that. I guess I'm going to take this off. Okay. I thought I could show the slide on part of it, but it's not working. I guess it has to be a slideshow. All right. So let's look at what dude has to say. He says, I think men often look at ambitious, successful, high-value women and become confused about where they can add even more value to her life. Men have been falsely conditioned to think that our worth comes from our ability to, quote, provide. And that if she doesn't, quote, need us, then, well, she doesn't need us, right? And that has some truth in it, right? Ladies, we've all run into men who feel like that. Well, you don't need a man who, because that come from mostly brothers. You don't need a man. You Miss Independent. You just got your stuff going, so you don't need a man. And so it makes you know that when a guy says something like that, he has very little understanding of the emotional depth of women, and he has no clue at all what a relationship is really based on. He just thinks he goes to work and comes home. She does does the housework and raises the kids, and he gives his paycheck. That's his mind. That's a relationship. And that if he's not cheating and he's been giving home, coming home with his money, and he got a job, well, that makes him a good man, and she should be happy to have him, no matter what else is going on, what emotional void is going on in that relationship. Let me get over here to the comments. The chat room. Leandra, hey everybody. Oh my God, it's like I forgot everybody's name. And like, where is everybody? I know people are like, I missed it. I didn't know that you were having a show because I just scheduled it yesterday. So let's start though, because I want to see if you guys could type in the chat. What is your idea of a strong woman? Is our idea of a strong woman different from what a man's idea of a strong woman is? What do you think? Let's start with that. Because in the Black community, strong women are condemned. I don't know about in other ethnicities. If somebody comes in here and they can respond to that question, that would be great. But, in the Black community, Black women who are, quote, strong are looked down on. They're maligned and ridiculed and taunted and teased and talked to like they have a tail because they don't, quote, need a man. They are often called, not that there's anything wrong with being gay and lesbian, but if that's not your thing and someone tries to say that to you, they're doing it in a way to like malign you. They're making association, just like if a woman tells a guy that, he's acting gay and he's not, but she's doing that to like taunt him and ridicule and belittle him. That's the same thing, like I said, but I want everybody to say, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that the term is sometimes used in a way to make, to discount a woman's femininity and to make her seem like she's, some other thing. And that's something that we have a lot of dealings with in the Black community. So I thought we would start to show off by defining that, like setting that out. What is a strong woman to you versus what I'm going to read him, what he's going to say a strong woman is. So let's see what we got here. So Maya says confident, unmovable boundaries. Hell yeah. Not afraid to speak up when wronged. Ooh. Able to walk away. She's a hard worker. Not codependent on a man. Hey, Nerly, I've got the question on the table now. What is a strong woman to you? Everybody, please put your thing in there. Robin, I see you in there. Leandra, Tacey, Mika. What is a strong woman from your perspective? I want to see what you guys have to say. So when I read what he's got to say, we can see if it matches up. I like Maya's definition. Those are definitely, those are definitely in there. So Leandra says a strong woman. Oh, you know what? I forgot. See, I forgot that quick. A strong woman is a woman who doesn't seek her strength from other people. She's able to handle stress and adversity with pride. Oh, yes. I think strong women also, it's a word that's not really used that often, but emotionally resilient with high emotional intelligence. Why would I say that? Because a woman who is strong presents herself as being in control. You guys know my video, right? Control your emotions. That's part of being a strong person. You are able to not let people push your buttons and send you places and make you go there. You don't fly off the handle like they show the little hood girls doing all this and the finger wag. They want to go to McDonald's and go in fisticuffs and all this kind of stuff. You, as a strong woman, don't handle yourself that way. If you feel that you are wronged, you seek legal counsel and you dig in their pockets. Or if it's a situation at work, you bring in the union, you get them terminated. You go for the juggler in a different way. You don't sit there and argue with people and call them out their name and let them get you all out your framework. So that to me is, having some emotional intelligence. You're also able to see what's going on with other people, right? You can see that certain things are landing on them in a certain way. So you might adjust your approach to this particular person. Also, by having control of your emotions, you are able to walk away, like Maya says. You don't have to feel like you need somebody more than you need yourself. And the emotional resilience comes in that you bounce back quickly from things. You notice how in the advice column we get letters from women who, 10 years later, they still whine about some dude that broke up with them, and or for years usually. They're still whining about it and thinking about him and wonder what he's doing and stalking his social media and going all this kind of stuff like that. That's not those are weak people. Those are weak people because they can't let go. When you hold on to pain like that, and I know some people are going to get upset. They say, well, that's why we have therapists and stuff. I understand all that. I advise people to get therapy myself. But that still doesn't mean that you have strength. If you had internal emotional strength, you wouldn't need all of that. You would be able to say, well, this person doesn't love me. I deserve to be loved and treated with respect. So let me just kiss that bye and just go on about my business. But instead, you guys, there's the weak people hang on to that pain. They hang on to those people that hurt them. They stay with cheaters. They stay with people who abuse them, even though they have the financial resources and everything to make escape. They don't do it because there's something that they're hanging on to. There's in these cases, I'm not even going to try to get into that, but let's see what else is going on. Have goals to reach and not let a man dissolve. Oh my God, that's right. Stay true to your own self. A strong woman is self-sufficient, but also relies on others. They call that interdependence, not codependence. That she trusts to keep her back, resilient, disciplined, knows herself. That's right. Have respect for yourself and others. Yes, very much so. Sometimes it's hard to have respect for people, but sometimes you know what? You have to respect people even when they don't respect themselves. And you know what that does? That shows more about your character than it does theirs. When you don't disrespect people just because you think that they should be disrespected. You conduct yourself in a way, you carry yourself the same throughout the world. You treat other people with class and style and respect, no matter who they are. They could be like, vomit-covered bum on the street. Hello, sir. You're going to be the same with with the politicians or some wealthy person or somebody who's a CEO or CFO or something like that. You operate the same through the world, and how you treat other people is a reflection of you. It is not about them at all. So all these guys who talk about, well, I treat a girl this way because she lets me, those are people of low character. If you have someone making that kind of excuse to mistreat and abuse people, then please understand that's not anybody that you should be around. Because a gentleman, a true person of class, would not conduct themselves like that, no matter what the other person was doing. Someone who's going to make it happen, that's right. She perseveres, she's independent, but she's also isn't afraid to reach out for resources. What's up, Shay? My girl. Yes, Shay, we back. We back, girl, we back. Uh-huh. Yeah, you can feel the anger, but you just don't let them see that you're angry, Maggie. That's where the game part comes in. Because see, that shows, they want to talk down to you. What does that say about them? That they feel intimidated, that they know you're better than them, that they want to bring you down a peg and knock you off your high horse. Don't let them do that. Also, keeps her education on point. Yes, she's constantly learning, even if it's not in a formal setting. She's learning about the world, about politics, about different subjects that interest her. She might even take one of those community education classes just for GP. Okay. Oh yes, look at y'all coming through. This is great. Well, see, Maggie, the trick with that is you keep your ideas to yourself. Sometimes you have to learn by lessons like that, not to talk. Just do. Okay? You don't say nothing. Well, let's get on. Let's get on going. You guys gave great responses. Keep those all in mind about what you think a strong woman is as we go through this, because he's in his mind. He says these are the 12 qualities that men need to have to attract women, like what you said here. Okay, so he says no matter how much a woman makes, how well educated she is, or how well established her life is, you can add value by being a partner, a friend, a lover, and a teammate. What guy does not know that? Why does this man have to write this article and tell them that? None of these things have anything to do with how much money you have or don't have. Well, kind of. It does, however, have to do with harnessing the qualities listed below and showing up as your full, authentic self. And James Michael, dude, that is true. But what you have to understand is that most men don't know who their true, authentic self is. They're, especially these young cats, they grew up without their dads, right? They're modeling themselves after friends, TV characters, movie characters. I don't know what the people on. I don't know what they're doing. Sports figures, stuff like that. They're modeling themselves and their behavior after people that aren't necessarily the best examples of manhood. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying in this society, this generation that we're dealing with right now, they don't have a true authentic self. You know how I know that? By how many of them are bipolar, depressed, and have anxiety. If you are true your true authentic self, you don't deal with stuff like that because you know who you are and you don't worry about if people don't like you. You ain't trying to please nobody but yourself. So on that point, so far that's the only thing I disagree with you about. Okay, number one, he says for a man to attract a strong woman, he must have his own ambitions. Do you guys agree? Yeah, in the black community, yeah, you're right, it's rappers. Although I've been looking at TikTok and I've been seeing some of these, like I said, Korean or Japanese or something, and white boys too, with their hair all cornrowed and talking in the dialect, the hood lingo. I'm like, what is this? What is going on here? But yeah, so everybody want to be black until it's time to be black, and you know what I'm talking about. So he says you have to have your own ambitions. A woman cannot plan a future with a man who hasn't planned a future for himself. Do we agree? Yes. So type yes or no. Type yes, no, maybe. Oh, I know we can use that scale. Agree, what is it? Strongly agree, somewhat agree or neutral, somewhat disagree, strongly disagree. So Nerly's with hell yes is going to translate into strongly agree. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so everybody agrees with this one. Let me go and read what he says. Imagine a divide between a couple where one person is striving for their own version of success and greatness, while the other one shies away from hard work, is lazy, unmotivated, and entitled. Unfortunately, these combinations do meet sometimes, and the relationship trudges through the mud until it finally, eventually disintegrates into nothing. How, after all, could it not? A woman who quite simply has herself together is going to be looking for a guy who can match her level of drive and ambition. If that's not how you want to live life, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no obligation to be anything other than what you really are. But the key is to find someone who matches you in these ways. This is where real happiness lies. Okay, so we got some strongly agrees up in here. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're gonna do that 5-point Likert scale. Um, I have to say I strongly agree too, because one of the things that bothers me most is when you get with a dude and he wants to ask you about your past, like stupid stuff. Like how many men you've been with or something like that. When's the last time you had some action? Stupid stuff. Instead, by the time you're in your late 20s, mid to late 20s, the conversation should not be anything about that. It should be about where you're going. And are you going someplace where we can go together? Okay, that's what it should be about. And so you should be looking at this man. What's his plan? What's he doing? And not somebody who's talking about this sitting back on the couch with the remote in their hand, talking about, yeah, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be a this, I'm going to be a that. What is he doing to make those dreams come true? Is he in school? Is he studying something? Did he get a license, a permit, a certification? What's going on that would make you think that what he's talking about is going to actually happen. That's the problem I have with a lot of women. You know, the Hope video, this video about why hope needs to die is based on that. When women get with a man and they hope that he's going to be with the man that they think he should be versus accepting him for the nothing that he is and deucing out. So everybody seems to be in agreement with that one. All right, so let's move on. So he says the second thing that a man needs to have, quality a man needs to have to attract a strong woman. If you didn't Bernie for that part, scroll up in the chat on YouTube and you will see the ladies' descriptions of what makes a woman is a strong woman in their minds. Okay, so that's so you're on the same page with us. So he says, number two, you are a strong communicator. Oh my God. How many men mumble through life? You ask them, oh, I don't know, because you know what I'm saying? What? What language do you speak? But I think communication also is not just words, but like how you express yourself. Do you fully explain yourself? Do you cover all the bases, or do you give like the Cliff Notes version of stuff to leave her to assume and jump to conclusions, or to keep asking you for more information? Then you get irritated and shut down. Whereas if you were a good communicator, you would just tell her the whole story up front without her having to ask for more details, right? So he says we all know that healthy communication in a relationship is key to making it work, but this truth is magnified when you're with someone who is proficient translating their own thoughts and feelings into words. How many men can do that? You strongly agree with this? Okay. Odds are she can also be very direct. This is a good thing. If you're able to match her level of communication and express yourself effectively, also active listening and paying close attention to her wants, needs, and desires, and then acting on them, not just listening, will show that you can listen just as well as you can speak. Yeah, because when I was doing Blog Talk, I interviewed a guy who wrote a book called Men Don't Listen. What was his name? Wayne Meisner, I believe. Why do I remember that? But I could just see the cover of his book. And it was the most interesting conversation because, this was a doctor talking about how men just don't listen. They have listened, they pick out the words they want to hear, and then they act like what you said was that their twisted up interpretation of it instead of what you actually said. That's why in response to that, men don't listen. I kind of studied men over the next couple of years after that, a decade or so, and realized that men have very short attention spans, right? So recommended that women communicate to men in sentences of 5 words or less. 5 words. If you got a real good one, you might be able to stretch it to 10. But most of them, after 5 words, they stop listening. So you need to put whatever it is that you got to say that's important in the first 5 words. And then if he says, well, what do you mean? Or well, why? Or something, then you fill in all the words that y'all like to use. But the first thing you need to do is tell him what you want first in 5 words. Works every time. Because after that, their minds shut off or something. I don't know. Something bad starts to happen. So you're a strong communicator. On the other hand, there's men who talk too much. I had some male friends like that. I'm like, you. And I don't mean this to be mean, but they talk more than women. Women love to talk. Women love to talk. Get together, just jaw jack forever. But this dude was like a woman. He just wanted to tell you all kinds of stuff about all these people I didn't know, like gossiping, like a little old lady. He just needed like a white picket fence to lean on. It was unbelievable. Okay, so we got the strong communicator number 2. Okay, here's number 3. Remember, you're going to agree, strongly agree. We're doing a 5-point scale. Strongly agree, neutral, slightly disagree, or strongly disagree. Okay, so 5 things. So he says number 3, you'll step up and, quote, be the man in the relationship. Oh, damn. How sexy is that? When a guy is like, he does step up. How many of them make you have to have a backup plan when he says he's going to do something because he's not going to do it or he's going to half step. So he doesn't step up the way that you really need him to do. till you can have confidence in him and believe in him and look up to him and admire and respect him. You don't have those feelings for him because he never comes through right. And then they get mad. Well, you don't respect me. Well, do you act like you need, should be worthy of such respect? You don't do nothing. Even when you make a promise, you're not a man of your word. So she can't depend on you. I don't know why women stay in relationships like that, to tell you the truth. Because I mean, even male friends, you tell me you're gonna do something for me and you don't do it. Don't call me ever. And don't be surprised if I put you on block. I did this one dude. He's supposed to come over here and I forgot what else he was supposed to help me do now. But anyway, he didn't do it and he didn't show up and he didn't call block. And that was at least 6-7 months ago. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't say why. I just blocked him. Let's move on. Okay, so step up and being the man. Let me see. He said, just because a woman may be in charge from 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday does not mean that she wants the same responsibilities in a relationship. At the end of the day, many women still appreciate a man who is the man and will make plans for them on date night. A man who still romances her. A man who is chivalrous and respectful. A man who understands that a woman can be independent and should still be treated like a lady. Oh my God, this guy gets it. I can see why he's popular, because he gets it. He gets it. So everybody's strongly agreeing on this. Okay, so far, dude's betting 1,000. This is really interesting. I mean, not like I thought that we would disagree. I was just curious, to see what, if there were going to be any points where you guys diverted. I'll ask you for your additional items, though, at the end. So think about that. So, okay, oh God, can you imagine being with a guy who really is like the man? These young dudes don't know how to do that. How you going to be the man and you sitting up there talking about you a femboy or you trans or you want to wear dresses and get your nails done and get your feet did and all this old stuff here? That's not manly. And, I mean, I'm like, people can do whatever they want to do, really. But if you're a het woman and you want a het man and you want kids and, you want the traditional kind of stuff going on in your household, in your bedroom, then a guy who does all that stuff is not going to be viewed as a man in your world, not in your eyes. Maybe somebody else's, but not yours. And so, judging by how many women are turning away from guys who do that kind of stuff, then it kind of would go to say, that doesn't turn women on. That's not what we're looking for. So I think, be the man in the relationship is important. That means take charge, take responsibility, be accountable for the people in your household that you're supposed to be taking care of. Make sure they're safe. Make sure they're protected. Make sure they have their needs met. That the homestead is safe. That the bills are paid. Ain't nobody going hungry. Nobody sitting in the dark burning candles. No, the heat stays on. Your kids have clothes. These kind of things. Just, nobody's asking super fancy stuff. But don't be trying to make her suffer with you. That struggle of is not really happening. Even something that being the man, stepping up being the man. The man stepping up being the man, even asking the woman out and paying on a date. They don't want to do that. So it starts with just real basic things. They want you to call them. They want you to drive and pick them up like they Miss Daisy. They want to, ask you for money. They want to move into your house instead of supplying the house, the domicile for which his family will reside. They want to move in your spot and roost like a chicken. So, there's a lot of this is these men, the modern men are not really men. So he is on to something with this one. Be the man, not just in a relationship, but in other aspects of life too. This is interesting. Okay, so everybody agreeing with that? Let's move on to his point number 4. You live your life with integrity. Oh my God. I did a whole video on integrity and the lack of it in men today. I don't know, that was a couple of years ago. But this is a big one for me in watching how men conduct themselves in life in this modern society. They have zero integrity, none. They sit there and lie to you and make promises to women, get married to them, have kids, all the stuff, and then dip out and be signing to people's DMs, going on these sites, doing all kind of just foul, egregious things. No integrity at all. Anything they say, you can't trust it. You got to look behind every door there is. They just lie just because it's a sunny day. There's no way, no accountability, no nothing. And then they wonder why women say they don't need a man and don't respect men because y'all don't act right. This guy is nailing it. I mean, the dude is like on fire on this article. I didn't really read it. I have to say, I just printed it out because I thought it was interesting title, and I just put it to the side because I had too many other stuff to do. Like today, I made a big old batch of my Jamaican green seasoning. Me and my food processor was in there working it out. I made so much of that stuff, I just sick. So yeah, I was a little busy, but I like this. So be the man. Okay, so he says you live your life with integrity. This is point number 4. Everyone's strongly agreeing so far. I believe at the end of the day, living a life of honor and integrity is something that gives each of us a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. I also think it's highly attractive trait to choose for yourself. Oh, that's all he had to say about it. Okay, well, I have a whole video on integrity. Just go to the top of the channel and search for it. And it goes into a lot more depth about what integrity is and how it is demonstrated in a relationship as well as how it's not. So you can find that on the channel. I'll try to remember to put a link, uh, after the show, like in the show description or the comments or something like that. So you can find it easy. I'll pin it at the top. So let's move on to point number 5. He says, you are secure in yourself. Oh my God. How many dudes are just so insecure? It's just sick. They have no confidence in themselves whatsoever. Oh my God. Before Rachel and I met, I guess Rachel's his true love. She was a successful entrepreneur with 2 businesses, raising 2 kids by herself and doing it all in stride. Anyone who's ever been a parent and or an entrepreneur knows that both are full-time jobs in themselves, let alone doing both at once. Imagine if I were insecure, unsure of myself, trying to court slash woo slash win over slash impress a woman like that. At one point in my life, this wouldn't have been the case, which is why timing is so important as well. In order to step up and merge your life with someone else's, well-constructed life, requires you to be on the same level, or at least of the same mindset that is to create it. Otherwise, you'll be left frustrated, wanting, or maybe even left behind. Let me also say, this doesn't provide an excuse for someone to disregard the feelings of their partner in a relationship. I have hundreds of articles about why mutual affection and appreciation is also important. Well, yeah, I mean, if you call yourself in a relationship and there's no mutual respect, no mutual love, no mutual admiration, mutual interest in cuddling, kissing, mutual interest in certain types of goals and stuff like that, then why are you there? What is the point of that? I mean, we get these letters and advice column every week, and I ask some girls the same question: why are you with this fool? And people often charge me with, every one of your answers is that you should do south. I was like, well, do you see happy people with same relationships writing advice columns? Let's be real here. Okay, just the fact that they write with the problems that they have should tell you that the relationship is just some trash and garbage. Okay? Because otherwise they wouldn't be writing advice columns. So let's just start there. Of course, I should tell them to break up and leave the fool alone. Let me see, what's she talking about? Girl, there's no recipe, but look on the community wall. I think I typed up, it's on there somewhere on the community wall. Just scroll down. It's probably from some months back because I make it every couple of months. It takes me that long to use it because I just make like a shitload. Okay, let's move on. So he says you're secure in yourself. There's so many insecure men, like the ones who want to like you want to leave them and they want to go crazy and KU and stuff, stalk and stuff like that. Totally insecure. The ones who get jealous because somebody looked at you, or you dressed in a certain way and they just don't want you to do that. Totally insecure. Who feel like, because you make more money than them, that, they're not the man in the that they can't be the man. And totally insecure. I can't deal with insecure dudes. I just cannot. Okay, let's move on to his number 6. He's got 12 points. 12 points. Let's see what honey. Hold on a second. I see something that just caught my eye. Let me detour here. Yes, this man does block. For ghosting from this day forward, because I should have meant something. Yeah, girl. You got to have a man who's, like he says, who conducts himself in a way that commands respect, who has integrity. And that means if he makes a promise, he comes through. If he makes he's going to do something, he does it. He says, I'm going to be here and there at this time. He's there. He's that kind of dude. If you don't have that kind of dude, then you don't have a dude that's got integrity. So let's move on. He says point number 6 is, remember, you guys are voting. Strongly agree, neutral, not really sure, somewhat disagree, or strongly disagree. So you put your answer there. So he says point number 6 that you're supportive. A telltale sign of your own self-worth and security is whether you encourage her to push further and excel, or if you find ways to discourage or hold her back. I say when men do that, they're very insecure. They don't feel like you're going to try to make yourself be too good for them or something. If she has been used to doing her own thing, crushing her own goals, running her own life, the last thing she's going to tolerate is bringing someone into it that will be an anchor to her ambition. That's right, an albatross around her neck. That's what I call it. It's amazing how much this guy and I think alike. I've never met him. I don't know who he is. Never had any interaction with him. But so far, he's on point with everything that he's saying. You guys agree? Yeah, I think insecure men should stay single too because they just a pain in the buttocks. They pain in the buttocks. Oh, I have to do a break. Okay, now I'm not getting paid by these people. This is not a sponsorship. This is not. They didn't give me any money for this, but I strongly believe in this. These are the only kettlebells I buy. This was my new baby. Well, one of them I got 2. It's 20 pounds. I got 2, so I can do 2 kettlebell swings and 2 kettlebell deadlifts and bent over rows and stuff like that. You all know I be posting my routines on the community wall. I kind of got off on that because I didn't have any internet, but I will get back to it. And so you can press these up and you can do shoulder presses. Okay, so I took my exercise break, but this company is called Blue Lake Iron. And I order all my kettlebells from there. I suggest if you decide you want to get some, though, look on there and wait until they have a free shipping promotion because you pay as much in shipping for these are balls of iron, so they're heavy. You pay as much in shipping as you do in for the damn kettlebell. So I try to wait for those, and then I order like 2 or 3 or 4 of them at one time. But I got all the ones I need now. Yes. So everybody agrees. All right. Yeah, I just had to take that little break, wake myself up. Interesting. You're supportive. Okay, so everybody's agree. All right. Number 7, you are honest and direct and kind about it. Uh-oh. My little sound barrier thing fell down. Oh, well, whatever. I'm going to just leave it over there. You are honest and direct and kind about it. I have been coaching ambitious and successful men and women for over a decade, and one of the things they appreciate most is someone who cuts the shit and tells them like it is. Well, I've been doing that for 30 years, dude, so I still got 20 years on you. Of course, this doesn't mean being harsh and rude. Sometimes it does. It simply means you have enough respect for someone to be honest with them. If you can master this balance, it will help to build a strong foundation of trust and respect in your relationship. That is true if you can do that. Now, being honest and direct and being kind about it. Sometimes, yeah, that should definitely be your goal. Let me put it that way. That should be your goal. Unfortunately, sometimes though, like how these women say, I've told him this 15 times, and he's it's still happening. It's still there's no positive response to them repeating themselves over and over and over when they're being honest and direct and being kind about it. That's when you stop being kind and you just get jiggy. And then if you have to go there more than once, that means it's time to leave the relationship because that person does not respect your needs, does not respect your wants, and does not respect you or the relationship. So, there's kind of an escalation, because most women aren't just going to go from A to Z. They're going to go A, C, F, L, S, T. They're going to go through some changes before they get to the point where they throw in the towel. And And during the process of going through these changes, she's asking him over and over, being an honest and direct way, explaining to him what she needs, where things are falling short, why she feels lonely, what kind of things she needs from him to feel supported and encouraged and loved. And he's not listening. He's not listening. So, at that point, then being kind about it part to me goes out the window. Maybe that's just me, though. I'm not saying everybody got to be like me. But then that's when I jump back and you become every kind of MF I can think of, and your mama and everybody else is lined up to all y'all, and then it becomes just like really ugly. But then when that happens, though, I already know I'm on my way out of the relationship. But that's just why I just wanted to add that little caveat. You do try to be that way, when there's mutual respect in the relationship. But if it gets to that point where you're feeling like, totally not listened to and disrespected over and over again, your boundaries violated over and over again, if you stay with that fool, that person, you're a fool. Okay. And you being nice and all this old stuff is not working. So sometimes you just got to get on a level and talk crazy. And then some people understand crazy better than others. Oh, you were polite and early, and Nerdy said, "Oh, please leave." See, if I was a dude and somebody said, "Please leave," I'd say, "No, I'm not going nowhere." What you gonna do about it? Okay, I'm gonna turn into Deb on you. That's what I'm about to do. And your head will whip around like the Exorcist, and then you can convince to act on fool. Okay, so that was really interesting. Okay, so let's move on. He says number 8 is you can share the spotlight. Let's see what he means by that. If you always need to be the center of attention, dating someone who gets some too is going to cause friction. Oh, I see. Okay. If she's well established in her career, has a large following, commands attention when she walks into a room, or simply does not like taking a back seat, you'll need to share the spotlight. This is a good thing because it means that you both shine together. All of these things have one thing in common. The other partner is having to hang back and not take a leadership role. Oh, and to be genuinely uncomfortable with it without causing a scene. Conversely, this also means that the other partner in the relationship, you, will have times when you're in the driver's seat as well. You must be equally as comfortable and competent at taking on this role just the same. Yeah, you know how good dudes like, okay, because I've heard this has come through the advice column. So this woman's on her job, right, and she gets a promotion. Now she, keep in mind, went to night school to get a master's degree and get this, LMFT or something. So she's put in the work to get this promotion. Okay. She got the credentials, she got the experience, she got the training. She comes home and she tells her man, "Oh, it finally happened. I got the promotion. I got a raise. Now I'm gonna be making, 140,000 or whatever, right?" So instead of congratulating her and being supportive, he's jealous. Well, you only got that permission because of equal opportunity. They just gave it to a black woman because of them laws. They implying that all the work that she put in meant nothing, that it was all just a fluke, just some random thing for her to get the promotion that she worked years for. That's how a guy does when he's, not wanting to share the spotlight. Because now that with her promotion, she's making twice as much as him, right? So now he ain't feeling that at all. See what I mean? Some of the men don't want the woman to even go to school. Like she dropped out of college. And, the kids are in high school now, so she decides she want to go back to school too. He feels uber threatened by that. What you gonna do that for? You just want to be meeting some of them little boys up at the school or something. The implication is that it's wrong and it's bad for her to improve herself. So he doesn't want her to get in a position where she can possibly outshine him, even if for 1 minute, one day at her graduation. He don't want that. So you guys be very careful of a man who makes any kind of derogatory comments about your goals, your dreams, or your aspirations, your what's next that you're trying to achieve something. And he says anything nasty, negative, or try to put it down in any way, shape, or form, you better give him the side eye and you better rethink that relationship. I'm warning you, because that's just the beginning. After that, they start sabotaging you. The first thing is like the rattlesnake shake. They're letting you know what time it is. You continue with them, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that that dream does not come true or that you're not successful. So be very careful with that. His point number 9, you're flexible and open-minded. So you guys agree? Is the man who's flexible and open-minded uh, someone who can attract a strong woman? Absolutely. That's why I like Aries men. Even though even though they ain't shit. But as far as like everybody else on the, because somebody asked me that a few weeks ago. What signs do I just not mess with? And it was like everything, pretty much all of them. But the only ones I kind of get along with is Sagittarius, but they ain't shit. Aries and they ain't shit. And Leos, they get on my goddamn nerves. But there you go, other fire signs. So you're flexible and open-minded. He says, here's an inevitable truth. You're going to disagree. Strong women come along with strong opinions, and there's no guarantee that all of them will match up with yours. That means that you and also her need to find a middle ground, which will require that both of you be flexible and open-minded in your viewpoints. I don't mean sacrificing your values. I don't mean betraying your identity. I don't mean morally compromising yourself. I mean being able to discuss, entertain new ideas, and compromise. So, disagree? What? Agree? Disagree? What you guys have to say about a man who's flexible and open-minded? Does that attract a strong woman? I think so, because that open-mindedness is what's going to let them grow together. If his mind is so fixed on well, you're the woman, you're my wife, you have to be like this. There's no room for her to ever be different, for her to ever change and grow. She's very limited. And when women are with men like that and they do start to grow and change and expand themselves, they end up having to leave that relationship, not because they want to, but because the guy is just putting them in a box and stifling them as human beings. He's not letting them be themselves. To be with him, she would have to do what he says right here, morally compromising yourself and sacrificing, betraying your identity and sacrificing your values to stay in a relationship with that guy. So, yeah, I can see where that would be a problem. So far everybody's agreeing. So who disagreed? Somebody disagreed with something. Leandra. So what was that question? That was the one about sharing the spotlight? I just want to make sure I understand what she disagreed with. I will disagree on that point. Okay, sharing the spotlight. Okay, there it is. She explained in the next thing. Okay, so we got one disagree so far. All right, so that was number 9. Number 10, we only have 12 when we're going to start talking about this. You have a great sense of humor. Oh my God, absolutely. Strong doesn't have to mean serious. In fact, it often means being able to handle challenges with a positive and lighthearted attitude. This requires a strong and healthy sense of humor to be applied at appropriate times. Levity can bring some relief to serious situations and help couples navigate rough terrain together. Life is serious enough as it is. There's no need to make it any worse. Exactly. And being able to laugh at yourself is the key thing. Because some people take themselves so seriously, it's just unbelievable. They can't ever make jokes about themselves. I'm not saying you put yourself down to the point where you need a psychiatrist couch or anything like that. But if there's something about yourself that is really kind of messed up, and then you make jokes about it, well then, like I had an auntie who was always late. She was always late. And so she made a joke one time. She said, you know what, I don't know why I can't get together. And I'll probably be late for my own funeral. And so we laughed. So she made a joke about herself, her lateness. So we didn't have to, dog her because she dogged herself. And we all just laughed about it because it was true. She probably would be. But the only thing, the great sense of humor is true with this one caveat. Men who make jokes, but they make their partner the brunt of them. To me, that's not a sense of humor. That's some underhanded, sneaky kind of, emotional abuse. That's what that is. So that, he's making jokes, he's getting all his attention, right? He in the middle of a party, everybody's looking at him, he's telling stories and stuff. And then suddenly he turns and he starts to tell a story about something about her that he shouldn't be talking about in public, or he makes her the brunt of a joke talking about something about her figure, her age, her hair, or her weight loss journey, anything that makes her feel humiliated, but he's trying to make it a joke. I've seen that happen a lot too. And so, a sense of humor that is respectful. Okay, I'm gonna add the respectful part on there. Your partner is not gonna be the source of your jokes. Number 11, you value and prioritize your physical and mental health. Mm. So you all agree? Well, I have to say, a man who takes care of his body and his skin and stuff, he don't have like the harpy hangover toenails, and his breath is not, he got good teeth and all this sort of stuff here. That's kind of important. So he says physical, mental health. Okay. Yeah. Mental health. So I'm a strongly agree on this one. Let's be honest, he says physical attraction is not the most important thing in a relationship, but maintaining one's health, wellness, and fitness makes you a more overall attractive partner. Not just physically, though, but emotionally and mentally. It helps to keep you sharp, focused, alert, present, and aware. It helps to keep you interesting and interested. It helps to keep you active, sharing life experiences together, exploring life's complex topics, pursuing goals, and solving problems. It helps to keep you connected as your bond is formed through a deep emotional link. A man who lets himself go raises many questions with the woman who loves him. The loudest of which is, if he doesn't care for himself, is he really able to care for me in this relationship? And the answer to that generally is no. I think the same about women that don't take care of themselves. Want to take care of everybody else but themselves. I have a problem with that. But in this case, we look at women, they just, like he's stopped exercising, he's gained 50 pounds, he breathes funny when he goes up a flight of stairs. I'm worried he's going to, keel over, leave me with these kids. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do without it? They're stressed. The women are stressed. And so they're looking at, if this continues, then he's going to be like a vegetable or something that's going to add to my burden to have to take care of him. Plus, we'll be down to one income. I'm going to lose the house. The kids won't, we'll be, it's just like a nightmare. And if he's an important part of this family, as to his wife and kids, even just to his wife that doesn't have any children, then him taking care of himself is just as important as him taking care of her and his other responsibilities. There are people depending on you, and in order for them to be able to depend on you, you have to be there. Not just be there, but be there and be able to kick it 100. Okay, that means you ain't all down with the pills and all these things, taking all these meds and whatnot. You have to take care of your body. My grandmother preached that to us as when I was a little kid. She used to talk about that. That's your blessing from God. I don't believe in all that, but I understood where she was coming from. That's your blessing, and it's supposed to carry you through your entire life. So you need to take care of it. You need to nourish it, give it proper rest, care, and exercise. Okay. Dandruff? Oh my God. Shut up, Sliver. Ah, oh my God. This is too funny. It has a lot of static. Why? Let me take this out and see. I don't know if it's the static or if it's still the internet connection. That's most likely what it is. Because as I was saying, I think the Wi-Fi is better than the hardwired connection at this point. That's what they worked on the most. Let's see here. Then he says move on to, that was number 11. You value and prioritize your physical and mental health. So everybody agree with that? Agree? Strongly agree? Some would agree? Neutral. Some would disagree. Strongly disagree. Where are we with that one? The value and prioritize your physical and mental health. Okay, everybody strongly agree. This is really bad for black men because they be keeling over and having like high cholesterol and checking out with strokes and stuff in their 40s and heart attacks and whatnot, kidney failure. I mean, and I heard this thing Oh my God. They were talking about all the millennials and these Gen Z people. How many of them having kidney failure? I mean, not liver failure, because they're like drunks and they just, doing too much, like all kind of, illegal substances and alcohol, to the point where their liver is failing. Now, it's hard to get a liver transplant. So basically, by the time, if you don't have somebody in your family willing to give you a chunk of theirs, you basically deucing out behind drinking. That's what you're doing. Speaking of which, I have some wine, but you know what? I know how to stop. And plus, I don't know what kind of, what kind of, because you see them like they be like online, just passed out. So, how much alcohol do you have to drink where you be passed out like that? Upside down on the fence. Ooh, this wine is nasty. Okay, well, we won't be finishing this. Let's see what she's talking about. Oh, no. Chronic obesity from poor eating. I hope she had some good insurance. I hope she had good insurance on his behind. Because that's just awful. Can you imagine, though, the trauma that she's got now? She got PTSD. Poor thing. Let's move on to his last thing. He says, number 12, you are fully, genuinely, and authentically you. You don't need to be the perfect man to make her happy. You just need to be the man you said you were when you met her. And he put that in big letters. Yep. Oh, how many of them start to fall off? Oh, and that's it. That's all he had to say on that. Okay. So those are his 12 points. Everybody seemed to be in agreement. So there was just one that had a disagree, and that was the one about sharing the spotlight. So now comes this interesting part here. You guys heard his 12 things, right? As you were listening to them, did anything else come to your mind that would be more important? More important than something that you think he left off the list that should be there? That would be interesting. I would like to hear what you have to say about that. His 12 things. Let me pull it. Where is it? Okay, that's my advice column from weeks ago, since we haven't done one in forever. Okay, I'm going to run through the 12 things real quick, just sort of refreshing your mind. And then you let me know if you think something's missing. Okay, number 1, you have your own ambitions. Number 2, you're a strong communicator. Number 3, you step up and be the man in the relationship. Number 4, you live your life with integrity. To me, that's number 1. You are secure in yourself is number 5. You're supportive is number 6. You are honest and direct and kind about it is number 7. You can share the spotlight is number 8. You're flexible and open-minded is number 9. Number 10 is you have a great sense of humor. 11, you value and prioritize your physical and mental health. And the final one is you are fully, genuinely, and authentically you. Yeah, you ain't showing up as a representative and being fraudulent, fronting, all that kind of stuff, all the names that we have for it. Yeah, I'd like this one too. I think I would have put this second. You're secure in yourself, because like securing yourself as what you are as a person. And I would couple that with, and this isn't something to add. Yes, it's an article. I said that at the top. It was an article by Mr. James Michael Sama, S-A-M-A. Confidence. I think being secure in yourself is one thing. It's like we're sure of how you respond to things. But being confident is what's going to give you the edge to make go outside of yourself. Securing yourself is, you handling what's coming at you, right? But the confidence is what I'm talking about, is what's going to make you go outside yourself and be a mover and a shaker out in the world. You're going to have the confidence to go after the woman that you want, the job that you want, the opportunities that you want, the contracts that you want. Even though they may say they're looking for something different, you're gonna try it anyway. What's the worst that could happen? They're gonna say no. That's where the security part in yourself comes in, because you're still valuable and you're still wonderful, even if somebody doesn't agree with you and they don't want to hire you and they don't want to do a contract with you. That's different. Securing yourself is you're responding to outside stimuli, right? You're not flipping out and going crazy and, wanting to go jump off a cliff and all this old stuff here because you got rejected, which is something that we have a lot of with these young men these days. They form these online groups because they are not secure in themselves and they feel like women owe them something. When you are a confident man, and there's a video on the channel about men with confidence too, you go after stuff. You're not complacent, even though you might be secure. There's another level to it. And that's where the confidence is. You're going to approach new opportunities with gusto. You're going to reach outside yourself. So for me, let's add that number 13 is confidence. Anybody else have something that they want to add? Let me see what Sliver's talking about. Oh, that's their fully authentic. Well, I think that falls under having integrity, maybe. I'm not sure. Let me flip through this right quick again. Why did I put it down? I should have just kept it over here. What might that be falling under? He needs to truly be single. I would think that would fall under um, having integrity, because of the fact that if he's not, a man with no sense of integrity in a situation like that, he's basically lying to the woman that he has at home. He's misrepresenting himself, right? He's playing a game. He's trying to get something that he knows he shouldn't have any access to because that's not for him. He already got a partner. So I think that would fall under that, but maybe not. He says, that's my hubs. Girl, yeah, you got you a good one. What is this? What's she asking me? What is a career in finance independent? Huh? I'm not understanding the question. Well, he put that under, not specifically like that, but he put that under, um, I think that would be living your life with integrity, number 4. Because a person who has integrity doesn't treat other people like that. And being secure in yourself. Because usually emotional abuse comes from men who are insecure. And what they try to do is make you feel like you're less valuable and less important, less beautiful, less whatever. They want you to feel less. And they want you to feel bad about yourself, because that, to them, to an insecure person, makes them feel more comfortable that you won't leave them. That's what it's all about. They're scared. They're like scared little boys. So what they do is try to manipulate you to feel bad about yourself, so that you'll think that you don't deserve anybody better than him, and that he's the only person that could ever really love you anyway because you're garbage. That's the mind game. So to me, that falls under integrity. Girl, yes. You lucky you made it out with no warted lips. Kissing them frogs. Yeah, that is the game. It's just very sad. So I only added one. I added confidence. A man who's confidence. So that would be the lucky 13. Yes, it does, Mika. It falls under exactly. That's where that falls. This is a question in case you guys aren't seeing it, or non-critical, but that may fall under open-minded. It does. What did he say? I know his exact wording. Open-minded and something. Flexible and open-minded. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be one way. You know, he's open to change and adjustment and listening and considering new ideas, new approaches to things. It makes life exciting. You know, it makes it more interesting. So we only got one thing. We got 13. So let me think. So nobody else can think it. So everybody's pretty much in agreement with him except for that share the spotlight thing. Okay. Well, I'm gonna send dude an email and a link to this video so he can watch it. And my question, I guess, then was answered because this is a mixed race group here, and because I was very curious to see if race or age or socioeconomic or educational level might impact what your ideas were of what a strong woman is. Now, Sliver, you weren't here for the early part because that was the question I asked. What do you think is a strong woman? Before you do that, please type what you think is. Sliver. And Micah, I'm not sure. Micah L, you too. I don't remember you being here earlier either. Um, you guys put in there what you think a strong woman is, because to me that was, what this is a guy, so he's got his own opinion about it. But I wanted to hear from women what women thought a strong woman is versus one who's not. We see the ones who's not in the advice column every week. They have no mental or emotional fortitude whatsoever. None. Just be living their life all kind of crazy. And then I was supposed to ask you guys, do you think that men in general like strong women, or do they prefer weak ones that are codependent? What's been your experience on that? So that was my final question. So do men really like strong women? Or is this like a thing, like a socioeconomic thing for the male? Or is it more based on his own confidence level and his own level of security? It's more of like an individual thing, not really related to race or age or socioeconomic status. It's more his personality and what kind of guy he is, if he can handle a strong woman. Because most of the guys, I don't know, they don't seem to really be able to deal with it too much. I know I am too. I think about all the stuff I've been through, man, and any lesser person than me would just been folded up in a box somewhere. You know what kind of box I mean, too. But I'm like, I'm not going out like that. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. I was telling my friend the other day, after Hubs died, and I was working as a trainer, right? And I worked in two different gyms, plus I had private clients. And I worked in Oakland. I worked at one place from 5 a.m. to about 11 a.m. Then I would go home. I would eat, do whatever I need to do, laundry, whatever, take a nap. Then I would head into Oakland. That's when I worked at Club One Oakland downtown. It's not there. The club is there, but it's under new management or something. I worked there, and I had clients from sometimes as early as 3, but usually more like 5 to about 9 p.m. 3 nights a week plus one day on the weekend, usually Sunday. And I did that schedule for years to support my daughter and myself. And I look back on now, I don't know how I did it. I just get exhausted just going to Oakland I mean, once a week. And I was doing that trek on that highway 5 to 6 days a week. I don't know. Sometimes, you just, something happens and you just find stuff in yourself that you didn't even know was there. But I was exhausted. I was absolutely exhausted most of the time. When clients would cancel, and they canceled at the last minute, so I still get to charge them. Oh my God, I'd be so happy. Sometimes I would even, or I'd just bring them some food or something, because I'd just be so happy because I could just stay at home. And my rule was with the clients in Oakland that I had to have at least two people or I wasn't coming. So if I had three booked and two canceled, that other one just was basically SOL. They didn't have to pay though, but the other two did. It took a lot of strength. It took not only physical strength, because like I said, it was very demanding physical schedule, but it was a lot of mental and emotional. Because I missed being with my daughter a lot. It was hard on both of us. I have to say, she did not have an easy childhood with me because of what happened and my need to switch gears and stop being so much around the house, mommy, to working at two health clubs and stuff. It was rough. It was really rough. And I didn't really have a lot of time, like to date and stuff. When was that gonna happen? So it was, pretty lonely a lot of the time that way. But you just do what you got to do. That was my focus, doing what I needed to do as the mama. Okay, let's see what she says. I think a lot of men want weak women because they don't have to do too much. Yep, you're right. Prey on younger women. Young women they just don't trust their intuition. Just don't speak up. Yeah, that's true. They doubt themselves a lot. We see that in the column every week. They just, they make a decision or they feel something and then they want to know if it's okay that they feel that. Or is it okay that I was angry? Is it okay that, that I want to break up with him? It's like, why do you need I mean, it's nice that they trust my opinion, don't get me wrong. But it's like, but why are you looking for a complete stranger's validation on the changes that you want to make for your life? Why do you need somebody else's buy-in? If you're unhappy, trust your own gut. You know that this is a fool and he's making you miserable. So just let him go and just let's move on here. It's just like that. She had to work late nights and long shifts due to the same life situation. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's me, girl. And I was just talking about that. I mean, like 2 days ago. I was at the gym working out with my friend. I was just looking at the trainers around there. They like, they teens and early 20s. And I was way older than that at that time. And I was like, wow, how did I do that? I think you just get into this zone, you just don't even think about how exhausted you are. And I still made time to have birthday parties for her. And I had a lot of help from my friends, though. The same friend I work out with a couple of times, I just gave her money because I had to work. I said, she needs school stuff. There's a list from the school. She's a good shopper. She's really like good at finding sales and stuff. So if I gave her $200, she'd come back with all kind of stuff. And so, she would take over that for me. I had another friend who would help my do her hair and stuff, put it in, like braids and stuff. So I didn't really have to worry about it. And she would do that every couple of weeks. So I had a village around me that helped me with a lot of stuff. But I know she would have preferred that it be me. But it's like either it be me and we on welfare, or we live in this nice place here in the burbs and you go to this nice little school and you be in marching band and all these things here, or, and we both have to sacrifice a little bit. It was just horrible. So that's why I say, you just, in spite of your best plans for your life, you think you're gonna do everything. A curveball will come, and you better that's why I said you better have some resilience. That is the main thing that got me through, was resilience. It was hard. I'm not saying I was in grieving for a long time, but you kind of have to, put that in a certain pocket and then go on with the rest of your life. So then sometimes I go and I pull that out and have my cry moment or whatever, and then I put it back in the box and go on back to the rest of my life again, because I have responsibilities for that girl. I couldn't just leave her hanging like that. That wasn't gonna work. So anyway, that was good, and I'm glad that we finally got to touch base again. I haven't seen you guys. It's been about 2 weeks, huh? Because first I was struggling with the thing, was going in and out. It was horrible, and then finally that they came to try to fix that and then messed it up so bad I had no internet at all. So for the last 10 days, I had no internet, none. Luckily, I had neighbors that let me, bootleg onto theirs. They gave me their Wi-Fi password. So I was able to bootleg onto theirs during this crisis, but I couldn't dare, take over their thing to try to do a live stream or anything like that. I wasn't going to be that rude. So, but it was just so that I could, check my phone, check my email, that kind of stuff. I didn't watch my Roku TV either because I knew that would be too much to rain on their Wi-Fi. So I just suffered. So now tonight I'm gonna go watch me a Korean drama on my TV. I'm so excited. So anyway, we will be back on Wednesday with the advice column for real this time. And it's supposed to start back up with DNN on Friday. Hopefully I'll get a chance to work on the slides. This has been awful because I couldn't pull anything. All the stuff you guys send it by email, right? No internet. I couldn't get to my emails to pull them. I wasn't going to put all them big old files on my phone because I can't edit them on the phone anyway. So I'm just sitting there just like, wow, this is kind of messed up. I'm just at a standstill. My whole life is just like stuck with no internet. I was like, wow. Yes, resilience is a superpower. Ooh, honey, yes. And you don't really know it until you need it and you don't have it. That's when it becomes a problem. Where do I watch K-dramas? Oh, I have a subscription to Viki. Netflix actually is like getting onto it. Right now they have King the Land with Juno from 2 p.m. Oh my God, that boy is fine. I've been watching that. I'm like, oh, he's cute. And the one we usually know who does also acting is Tassian. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. But anyway, the one with the big ears from 2 p.m. He was the first one who broke out. But now Juno is like, ooh, cute. So King the Land, highly recommend on Netflix. And so Viki, and then I got a gift. One of my ex-clients got me a 1-year subscription to this Chinese one called IQI. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but they mainly show Chinese and Taiwanese. I think maybe a little bit of Japanese, but mainly, Chinese and Taiwanese movies. But I'm not going to, she gifted it to me, so I'll watch it sometimes, but it's not anything I would want to pay for. So yeah, that's what I do. Those where I watch my K-dramas. But yeah, Netflix has a wonderful selection recently. I'm not sure why they got into that. They actually just one King the Land. They produced that. It's a Netflix produced K-drama, which I thought was really interesting. So, if you get a chance to check that out. But yeah, so anyway, I'm going to head out of here now. And I will see everybody on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's 9 if you're on the East Coast. And this is when we do our weekly advice column. If you have a letter that you'd like to send in, we already got a couple of weeks of columns in the queue now that Candace already did, and I didn't get to use them. So what you would want to do, though, is navigate over to debsterism.com, just like you see on the screen here under my name, debsterism.com, and fill out the form and submit your question for an upcoming show. All right? It'll be probably a couple of weeks before we get it. Start pulling from those because we're behind already. So you guys take care. It's really, 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 really more than you know. Good to see you guys. I'm really happy to be back. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Bye-bye.